everybody! Today is Monday, and that means it's time for Family Movie Night. And this is the series where every Monday I give you a film that you can watch with your entire family that you can stream on Netflix. This week, I decided to go with a film that is not exclusively a children's film or made for children, and I went with a classic and a musical. And I have great memories of watching musicals, particularly the Rodgers and Hammerstein, the Lerner and Loewe, Irving Berlin, the Gershwins. Great music, and just something I've always loved. And so we're going to talk about Rodgers and Hammerstein's musical, 1945 musical State Fair. And this is the only musical that they wrote exclusively for a movie and not for the stage, and then adapted into a movie. And it's about a family that is going to the State Fair. And it's pretty simple. And it has a lot of old school Americana, directed by Walter Lang, who was a very prolific director. He's not that well known, but he also directed The King and I, so he definitely knows his musical theater. And the family in question for State Fair is called the Frake family, and that consists of a mother and a father. Ma is played by Faye Baintner. Pa is played by Charles Winnegar, and they're a lot of fun in their roles. And then there are two children. The first is Margie, and she is played by Jean Crane. She is a young woman who is bored with her suitor, her suitor has everything planned out down to the house that they're going to live in someday, and she wants something new and exciting. And so that's sort of her entrance into the fair. And then the other son is named Wayne, and he is played by Dick Haynes. And he wanted to go to the fair with his girl, but she can't go for various reasons. And so he goes kind of disappointed. And he meets a woman named Emily, who's a singer there at the fair. And she is played by Vivian Blaine. She actually was really famous for playing Adelaide in Guys and Dolls. And she's one of the only leads in this film that actually does their own singing. And she has a gorgeous voice. And it's really funny because Adelaide is really known for being a squeaky part, for being a Nathan, really squeaky voice. But here, she's got a beautiful voice. So it's pretty interesting if you're a musical fan like I am. And State Fair is probably one of the lesser known and lesser of the Rodgers and Hammerstein musicals, but it's still a lot of fun. And of course, any success of any musical comes down to the songs. And probably the most well-known and the best songs of the show are the opening song, State Fair.
Our State Fair is a great state fair. Don't miss it, don't even delay. It's dollars to donuts that our state fair is the best state fair in our state.
A song called Might As Well Be Spring, which is sung by Margie before she goes to the fair, just talking about the new things that are coming into her life, and she's just kind of bored with what she's got, but she's hoping this fair will bring her something new.
I'm as restless as a willow in a windstorm. I'm as jumpy as a puppet on a string.
And the most famous song of the movie is called It's a Grand Night for Singing. And this is just a classic 1940s musical style song. It's one that you'll be humming for the next couple days after you see the movie.
It's a grand night for singing. The moon is flying high, and somewhere a bird who is bound he'll be heard is throwing his heart at the sky.
Each of the characters in the family has sort of their own storyline. So we get to see Wayne meet Emily and that kind of storyline. And then we see Emily meet a newspaper man. And it's believable that a newspaper man would be covering the Iowa State Fair, because even today, the Iowa State Fair is actually still a pretty big deal. And like politicians go there, and it's definitely covered by the news. So it's believable. And Dana Andrews is very good. He kind of has just a classic 1940s leading man kind of persona and character that you like to see. Charles Winnegar, who plays Pa, he's entering his pig in the state fair, and the state fair, and the pig becomes kind of lovesick for another pig, and so that's sort of a funny plot line. Ma, played by Faye Batener, is entering all these cooking contests at the fair. The funny part with her is that she's making mincemeat, and she doesn't want to put any brandy in the mincemeat because she doesn't believe in it. But people keep adding more and more brandy on the slide to her mincemeat, and it ends up, of course, the judges love that, and they get a little bit tipsy eating her mincemeat, which is sort of funny. And the judges are well played by character actors. And so there's little moments of humor, and like I said, all the different parts of a fair are kind of covered. You get the booths, you get the food, you get the music, you get the animals, the cooking contests, all that stuff that goes into a state fair. And the only part that's pretty weak, I would say, is maybe the romantic elements are pretty corny and very predictable, but they're still kind of entertaining. I like a corny romance, what can I say? And I think the actors have enough personality to pull it off. And it's filmed in a very lush Americana, Norman Rockwell kind of way. Like, they show close-ups of the hamburgers and the cotton candy, and look like a set for a lot of the shots. It looks like it's actually at a state fair. They did a very good job with that. Fair was based on 1933 Will Rogers version and then they adapted and added music to it. And then there's also a 1962 version with Pat Boone and Anne Margaret, and I think this 1945 is much better. It's not one that's going to be on a lot of people's top 10, top 20 musicals ever made list, but it's still got good songs, it's got good performances, it's well shot, and it's just an entertaining time at the movies. So I think you guys will really enjoy watching it with your family, and maybe it'll inspire you to go to the fair sometime this fall if there's one in your state or county. So let me know what you think if you watch it with your family. I would love to hear. And what's your favorite Rodgers and Hammerstein musical? I love them all, but my favorite is probably Sound of Music, but there's so many good ones. And I hope you're having a great day. Please subscribe to my channel, and I will talk to you later. Bye.